This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter. We begin with some news out of St. Croix. The Department of Public Works is advising the community of upcoming construction on Market Street and Frederickstead starting on Tuesday. The DPW identified a sidewalk filled with mud and debris, which led to drainage challenges and stagnant water. They will work on the affected block between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. daily. Work is expected to be completed by June 16th. The department is asking the public to avoid this area during work hours, as it will be blocked and no parking will be allowed. And over in St. John, the Federal Emergency Management Agency awarded the Department of Public Works up to $1.9 million to construct a retaining wall and install a drainage system at Fish Fry Drive on St. John. This is through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. The popular roadway lies to the west of the Theodore Eric Moorhead Marine Facility in Cruz Bay and is subject to reoccurring flooding. After heavy rains, the sea rises, flooding the road, which leads to the breakdown of the shoreline and deterioration of the asphalt. The project calls for the installation of a permanent retaining wall system along the shoreline to prevent erosion and a drainage system that will direct water from the road to the sea. These elements will allow the water to drain off and away from the road to avoid any further erosion. Now for a look at the latest coronavirus numbers right here in the territory. There are currently 109 active COVID-19 cases across the islands, with 93 on St. Thomas, 15 on St. Croix, and 1 on St. John. Johnson & Johnson is being forced to destroy tens of millions of doses of their COVID-19 vaccine, and new concern about breakthrough infections, as almost 173 million Americans have now received at least one vaccine dose.
Tonight, the FDA says some 60 million doses of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine made at this Baltimore plant must be destroyed. Citing earlier contamination problems, U.S. regulators had already pulled aside the vials in question, now deemed not suitable for use. You're going to get your life back to normal. As J&J continues manufacturing vaccines earmarked for countries overseas, tonight at sea, 2 confirmed breakthrough cases on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The infected passengers, who shared a room, had to show proof, like all other adult passengers, they had been vaccinated and tested negative before setting sail.
There was no panic on board. I mean, people pretty much just went about their nightly routine. They didn't cancel any of the activities on the ship.
The infected asymptomatic passengers are both in isolation. While surprising, there will be breakthrough infections.
We're all scared that if we're vaccinated and we get a positive case, that somehow something is wrong, when in fact it's the opposite. The vaccines are working even when you have a positive case.
Vaccines, say experts, are why COVID deaths have dropped nearly 90% since their peak in January. It's the unvaccinated who are still losing their lives to COVID. With a renewed push for vaccinations, tonight cities like Chicago are finally reopening. The sights and sounds of summer past finally here again.
Meantime, Norwegian Cruise Lines plans to begin sailing again in August. The Florida-based cruise line says it will follow the Safe Sail protocol, which includes having a fully vaccinated crew and guests for voyages. The first cruise is set to sail from Miami to the Caribbean on August 15th. Last month, the CDC issued new guidance for cruise companies to start trial voyages before applying for a COVID-19 conditional sailing certificate. A busy start to the week for President Joe Biden. He's taking part in his first in-person NATO summit since taking office. And Wednesday, he'll sit down one-on-one with Russian President Vladimir Putin. We have a look at what we can expect.
Today, we've had a national tragedy.
September 11th, 2001.
2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center.
September 12th, 2001. NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time in its history. An armed attack against one shall be considered an attack against them all.
We believe NATO and Section 5 is a sacred obligation.
President Joe Biden is in Brussels today with plans to reaffirm that commitment during the NATO summit, which brings together the leaders of all 30 allied nations. The White House laid out key summit expectations, with a focus on issues like NATO itself, its framework, financing, and strength of partnerships, cybersecurity, and climate change. Military withdrawal from Afghanistan will also be discussed, along with strategy in regard to China and Russia, which will be front and center in Geneva Wednesday, where preps are underway for Biden's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We are looking to resolve those actions which we think are inconsistent with international norms.
I think he's going to meet a very different president than one who was at the mercy of Putin.
If Russia chooses to continue reckless and aggressive actions, we will respond forcefully.
Both summits give Biden unique opportunities to strengthen global partnerships and reassert American leadership on the world stage. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
And Governor Albert Bryan Jr. issued a statement in response to President Biden saying U.S. territories should be on equal footing with states regarding federal programs. President Biden said the U.S. Justice Department's defense of continued discrimination against residents of the U.S. territories and federal programs is inconsistent with his administration's policies and values, and he called on Congress to amend the existing laws. Governor Bryan praised the Biden administration's commitment toward achieving parity between the U.S. territories and states in all federal programs, saying, quote, achieving parity in federal programs that are critical to the U.S. Virgin Islands is of paramount importance, and President Biden's acknowledgement that there is an imbalance between the states and territories brings the promise of achieving that equality and is much welcomed. Monday marks World Blood Donors Day, and the American Red Cross is making a plea for people to roll up their sleeves and give. Right now, the Red Cross is experiencing a severe blood shortage. People who have received the COVID-19 vaccine are eligible to donate blood and platelets. Donors should know the name of the vaccine manufacturer to determine eligibility. A plastic product manufacturer is turning ocean plastic into colorful dishes, and the colorful handicrafts are more sustainable than they may seem. Plastic product manufacturer Techno Labo made them from ocean plastic. They first crush the collected debris into pieces. The materials are then put into a heat press machine. The company then reheats the plate and molds it into the desired shape. Around 60 grams of marine debris are used to make just one of these dishes. The company hopes that this one-of-a-kind plastic product will encourage other manufacturers to follow suit and make long-lasting products.